All right, what's going on YouTube? This is BoxingWave. So this is gonna be another video where I'm just giving you some audio and posting video footage of my trip to Arizona last year, where I went to go see the Hoover Dam and the Grand Canyon. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoy the footage while you listen to me talk. Uh, so I wanted to give you my last thoughts on the Dominic Breazeale fight. It's not really much to say about the fight itself. It ended in one round. But I wanted to react to the comments. You guys saw my video that I did with my dad the other night, right after the fight. We just got back to my house from Brooklyn. And it's funny because I got a huge response. You guys love the video. You guys love having my dad on there. So it was fun, and it was good that we had difference on opinion. I thought that the video actually didn't go the way I thought. I When me and my dad was talking about doing a video like a few minutes before I brought the camera out, I thought it was gonna be a different type of video because me, I keep a certain level of professionalism on the channel. I try to, and you know how conversations go behind the scenes and just in person is different. So me and my dad was talking about doing a video, and I said, you know what? We were talking about the fight, and I said, you know what? Let's do a video, and I got to do one anyway. So he's like, all right, let's do a video, but I thought it was gonna be a real raw video. And then we started to do a video, and my dad started being all technical, and I was like, man, this is not what I wanted it to be, because we had some drinks, we just had a good time, and I was getting kind of tired. I thought it was gonna be one of those real raw videos, and it wasn't, because my dad kind of set the tone, because I wanted him to tell you guys how he felt, and the conversation was just totally different from the conversation we had before the camera got cut on. But my dad is a fan of the channel too. He watches my video. He does read the comments and stuff. So we just kept it like professional and everything. So I guess that's good in a way. But listen, about the fight, um there's a lot of things I didn't bring up in my review. All right, I didn't want to dip into the politics of it all because my father doesn't know all about that stuff. He just watches the fights. He's the reason why I'm into boxing, because he, especially back in the day, he was a big boxing fan, huge boxing fan. Do like legendary fight parties at his house. That's how I got into it. That's how it became my favorite sport. He's the reason why Mike Tyson's my favorite fighter, because he was a diehard Tyson fan, just like most Americans. But I didn't dip into a lot of things. I didn't want to go into a whole bunch of stuff about politics and how I viewed the fight before that. I didn't go into it because I just wanted it to be a fun video, and us just talking about Joshua and comparing him to Fury and Wilder. I didn't want to really get into all the other stuff, because he doesn't follow all of that stuff. But listen, the Breazeale fight ended exactly the way I thought it would. I called it. I didn't think. I said I was being generous by saying that it would last 5 rounds tops. Um, but I also said I wouldn't be surprised if it lasted only one round, which it did. It's just like I said, Deontay Wilder already beaten guys that's better than Breazeale. So what? How other way was the fight supposed to go when you're fighting probably the worst, not the worst fighter, but the fighter with the worst defense that we've seen out of all of Wilder's recent opponents, probably of all of Wilder's opponents since he's become a champion. Dominic Breazeale has the worst defense. His style is to get hit, wear you down, and knock you out later. That is his style. He doesn't have boxing ability. He doesn't have defense. He's not a counterpuncher. He's very slow. All he has is power. But he takes a lot of hits before we get to that point. He's lost fights. He's lost one fight prior to this. But he, even in the fight, some of the fights that he won, he took a lot of hits before he got the win. And he's even been down in other fights before he got the win, because he just took the punches better. He's not going to take punches from Deontay Wilder. He can't do it. He can't do it. And this is why the fight ended in the way that it did. So it was no surprise to me here. It's a fun fight to watch because Deontay Wilder has some of the best highlights. He has the best knockout highlights in boxing today. When it comes to knockout highlights, he has the best. Did he face the best fighters in the heavyweight division? No, he hasn't. Okay? But currently, he has the best knockout highlights of all of boxing. And he personally has my personal favorite ring interest. Out of going to his fights and seeing him fight live, it's so electric to see him fight and see him walk into the ring. I know Joshua on television, it looks crazy because the stadium is huge, and this is why I try to go to Wembley this year. It looks amazing on TV. It does. But Wilder and his ring entrance and his crown and his cape, he looks like a king coming to the ring. I think it's just so entertaining to watch. I think he does it better than anyone that I've seen live. I also enjoy watching Triple G come into the ring with his robe. His robe is probably the best robe in boxing. He plays the same music. It's dope watching him come to the ring. But I think Wilder is number one when it comes to ring interesting. He just looks menacing. I had a great time. People coming back to my videos to address what I've said in previous videos. What did I address in those videos? I addressed the WBC and how they just moved Dominic Breazeale to the mandatory position over Dillian White, who is the number one fighter at the WBC, ranked fighter. This is what I talk about. I talk about the DAZN deal. I talked about how the $50 million was debunked already, and people are still bringing that up. I'm talking about what he said publicly, things that he said that were lies, bringing race into the debate, which was unnecessary. All right, I'm talking about the promoters, the inconsistent things that's been said between him, the promoters, the managers. These are things that I brought up in that video. All right. He beats Dominic Breazeale, and he's not trying to fight Anthony Joshua. The excuse is, we just wanted to build. No, I want to see you fight Anthony Joshua. That's it. I want to see the fight. I am upset because I want to see the fight. I don't want to continue going years and years and years of having this debate. And his following are already telling me, I'm reading comments, yo, just let the fight build. Are you a boxer fan, or you are a promoter? Are you working with Deontay Wilder's street team? Are you posting flyers? What are you doing? Don't you want to see the fight as a boxing fan? This is the issue I have. It has nothing to do with everything else. I want to see the fight now. Why can't Joshua beat Ruiz and Wilder beat Breazeale, which he just did, and get the fight in this fall? Why are we trying to build it up? It's already built up. I don't want to risk one of you guys losing a fight before we see that fight. Let's just have the fight. How much more building do we need to do? I'm not making any money out of this. I just want to see the fight. That's all. I want to see the fight now. When we had other heavyweight champions in the past, what did Mike Tyson do to collect his belts? He beat one champion, he beat the next champion, he beat the next. That's how you do it. That's how you defend your titles. We didn't have this, let's let the fight build. Mayweather did that. Pacquiao did that. I get it. But I'm ready to see the fight. The fight has been building. We've been talking about this fight for 5 years now. 4 or 5 years now. I want to see the fight. Klitschko lost. Uh, we had Fury. I mean, he's back now, but he went through his mess and retired for a little bit. Joshua cleaned up and picked up the belts. Wilder defended his title. What else are we waiting for? You know, Wilder almost lost in a fight previous to this one. He barely won. I don't think he won the fight. You know, a judge. It's laughable that a judge in that fight, actually gave him 7 rounds. These are the issues that I have with Deontay Wilder. You guys want to make it about everything else? You come to my comments and insult me. It's okay, because it's the internet. That's what it is. We have trolls. It's all good. But my issue with Wilder is not him fighting. He's proven to me already that he can fight. I just want to see him fight the best. That's it. We don't need an Ortiz rematch. We don't need all of these other fights before Joshua. We can have the Joshua fight right now. Right now. Let's make the fight happen. The guy is literally saying we're going to let time will come, it'll come. No, bro. We want to see the fight. Why are people defending this? We want to see the fight. The fight can be made. Let's make the fight. It's bigger than it's ever been. It's bigger than it was last year. I get it. It's going to be bigger next year or the year after. As long as they stay undefeated and no one gets knocked out, these guys can keep building the fight. It's going to be bigger next year. It's going to be. I get it. But a boxing fan like myself, I just want to see the best fighters fight the best. We get it in every other divisions. Yeah, certain divisions like the welterweight division, we're dealing with the same mess. When it comes to Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence and Keith Thurman and stuff, we deal with it in certain weight divisions. But then we have divisions like 140 where we're about to fight. We're gonna have two of the best fighters in the division fight each other in a tournament. Same thing with cruiserweight. Usyk won all 4 titles fighting in this tournament. The best fighters were in this tournament. Yeah, 1 or 2 champs might not be in the tournament, but we can still get unifications later. But when it comes to the big name fighters, there's always all this drama. Yet in other divisions, we just get unification at will. It's easy. So all I want is to see the fights. That's it. I don't want to continue having this who would win debate. It's fun to have the debate, just to talk amongst boxing fans, but we're having more debates about politics than the actual fight. I've done breakdowns of this fight already. I'll probably continue to do more as more fights keep coming and going. But Dominic Breazeale is not the one. He's not the one. Wilder knocked him out because he was supposed to knock him out. I know my dad was making some points about him building muscle. I get it. But Wilder is naturally bigger than what he's been fighting in his recent. He's been intentionally dropping down and cutting weight in his previous fights. He's been fighting over 220 before. This is not a new thing. All right, he was just fighting Carlos Molina just several fights ago, a couple years ago. He was fighting at the same weight for multiple fights. I personally believe that he should just stay in the 220s because he is already quicker than the majority of these fighters, whether he's bigger or smaller. He doesn't need more. So he was fighting Tyson Fury at 212. He doesn't need more speed. He just needs better timing. And he should have better timing if they have a rematch, because he has experience on fighting Fury. He knows Fury's going to duck his right hand all day. So now that he fought him from 12 rounds and wasn't able to knock him out, maybe he should have a better a better idea of how to time that right hand. That's what he wants to land anyway. He wants to go for the knockout. He goes for the knockout in every fight that he's in. So I don't think cutting down in weight is going to be that much more effective while fighting Tyson Fury. You know, I think he should just stick with him being at the weight that he is because he doesn't need more speed. He just needs to time him. Instead of windmilling when he misses, just back off and time it better. Throw other shots. You know, you have a left hand too. You have two hands. The straight, the jab, right hand setup, that's not going to always work. It didn't work against Fury. It almost worked at the very end of the fight. It almost worked, but it wasn't enough. So I think the whole he's adding muscle, he's gotten better. How can you know he's better if the fight ended in one round against a fighter that does not move his head at all? Anthony Joshua moves his head. All right? Anthony Joshua uses his feet for his defense. He uses his guard for a defense. He's not Tyson Fury. He's not as loose as Tyson Fury. He doesn't duck and bend as loosely as Tyson Fury does. But he does. He does do it. He has defensive ability, you know? It's not going to be as easy. Just like it wasn't as easy as Arthur Spilka or Carlos Molina or all of these other fighters that Wilder fought that he couldn't get out of there early. He has a lot of fights where the fight landed 8, 9, 10 rounds. You know? It's not going to work with everyone. Some guys are going to be more durable than others. You know? So let's not act like, oh, Wilder is this big. No, it was Dominic Breazeale, a guy that's used to getting hit every single fight and getting back on his feet. But he couldn't get back on his feet this time. Because like most predicted, and this is the reason why the odds are so wide, because Dominic Breazeale was not supposed to win this fight. He's not supposed to win this fight. So I think people tend to forget these fighters. Wilder didn't look great in his last fight, and a lot of Wilder fans have said that themselves. There are Wilder fans that believe he lost that fight. Yo, I'm a Wilder fan, but yo, I don't know. I don't think he won that fight against Fury. If you think he edged it still because of the knockouts, then that's cool. You know, that's cool. That's on you. That's your opinion. But the majority believe that he did not win that fight. Outside of the diehard Deontay Wilder fans, there's a lot of people that don't believe he won this one. And it's okay. You know, but we got to be realistic with ourselves. I haven't discredited anything about Wilder fighting. But everything outside of the ring is some bullshit. And people give him a pass for it, knowing damn well they wouldn't give the same pass to Anthony Joshua if he came out and said, after he fight Andy Ruiz, time will come, we got to let the fight build. If he said that bullshit, you guys will be all over him, calling him a ducker. If he said that, you guys will be all over him. When he said in the Sky Sports interview a couple years back that, maybe he'll fight Wilder, that one time he said that, after beating Klitschko, that one time he said that, you guys were all over him for saying that. But Wilder can say it and he gets a pass. It's okay. Let the fight build. Be consistent. That's all I'm asking. I've done a lot of videos on these two. I've done a lot of videos here on these two. And guess what? My videos are different these days. You know why? Because Wilder wasn't always like this. There was a point where Wilder was very humble. He was picking up his wins. His manager even said it before that they didn't want him to fight Klitschko. He's even said it. Regardless of what Wilder wanted, his manager even said it. But because Joshua fought him and beat him, oh, he's old. Well, if he's old, yet he's one of the most dominant heavyweight, period. If I mean, this guy, him and his brother had their own era. They had their own era of ruling the heavyweight division. But you'll call him old and you'll say that that fight doesn't mean anything. But the Luis Ortiz fight means so much to you when Ortiz hasn't proven anything. And I love Luis Ortiz. He's the only fighter that I said that would beat Wilder. And I was wrong. And I owned up to it right here on this channel. And if Wilder beats Joshua, I'm going to do the same thing. But he actually has to fight him. Let's not go with the debate. The debate is not let's not do this. We're not going to do this forever. At some point they got to actually fight. If Wilder knocks out Joshua in one round, then I will be on this camera again telling you like, wow. And the thing is, I think he has a good chance of beating Anthony Joshua. And I've said this in videos in the past. He has a great chance, which is what surprises me about why they're waiting so long. Because after that last deal, I was like, okay, you really need to take this fight at this point. Because you're going to get paid way more than what you were previously. These guys offered you, sent you a contract for much less than what they're offering you right now. Now you're making it risky because one of you may lose before then. So all I'm trying to say is I really want to see the fight. And regardless of how I feel about Wilder, when he gets in the ring, he's great to watch. I mean, he's one of the most entertaining fighters to watch. When he's not winning rounds, it looks ugly. It's looked ugly against several opponents. It looks ugly, okay? When he can't land the right hand, he doesn't look that great. All right? But when he lands and he gets the knockout, these guys are reacting in ways where they're on the ground with their arms stiff up in the air. It looks crazy. The knockouts, they're always flat on their back. They might be rolling around, going through. They look like some of these guys look like they were going through a seizure when he knocked them out. Joshua doesn't have that impact. He doesn't. He gets his knockouts, but he works for his knockouts. Not everybody has that concussive power like Deontay Wilder. This is why people compare him to Mike Tyson. But at least Mike Tyson, unified, went undisputed. Wilder has been a champ for years now. What are you doing? When are we getting a unification? You know? Listen, even when I go back and look at Tyson Fury, when Fury showed up to Brooklyn after the Spilka fight, and Fury got in the ring with him. Even then, Wilder was like, oh, I got my mandatories. He didn't seem eager and confident to fight Fury back then. And he was always like that. He wasn't eager and confident to fight. It wasn't until 2017 when Wilder started talking shit about these guys ducking him. It wasn't until that year. And that wasn't true. Nobody's been ducking you. Who was ducking you? Klitschko wasn't ducking you. Fury wasn't ducking you. Joshua wasn't ducking you. Joshua was still earlier in his career. He only was a few years in, and he was getting close to fighting for a title. Or he had just fought for his first title against Charles Martin. Which I'm not giving a load. I never mentioned that fight. I'm not giving him a load of credit for that, but he fought a champion and beat him. Martin was the champion. He beat him. Those belts did belong to Fury, but because of Fury, those titles was freed up. He wasn't fighting. So what are these guys going to do? Fight for the vacant title. And that's what he did. And he beat Klitschko, and then he unified with Joseph Parker. What else is the man supposed to do? He's the one that's making the money. He's the one that has 3 titles. What's going on? What's happening? They offer you 100 million, you turn that down. This is why I call them an embarrassment. It looks good in the ring. It looks good when he's knocking out Dominic Breazeale. But dog, we want to see you fight the champ at this point. These 3 top fighters are not losing to anyone in my eyes. I think they only lose to each other. Fury loses to Wilder or Joshua, in my opinion. Dillian Whyte doesn't beat none of them to me. And that's another, again, the WBC has been screwing Dillian Whyte. And guess what? I still think Wilder would beat him. But I think Dillian Whyte is much more dangerous than Dominic Breazeale. At least Dillian Whyte can move his head and counter. You know? So it was a great, weekend. I mean, the fight, going there and watching it, it was fun. It was exciting. I had a good time with my dad. It was a great video review that we did. But let's not lose reality here. When a fighter doesn't look good in his previous fight, or if he loses, or he has a draw, what do? They set him up with a guy that you can knock out to make it look good. Look at Danny Garcia. He looked bad against Herrera. That was the first fight that he ever looked horrible in. And guess who they set him up with? Rod Salka. Then he loses to Keith Thurman. Who does he come back and fight? A washed up Brandon Rios. It's always worked this way. And even that, he loses to Sean Porter. He comes back and fight Adrian Granados. Not disrespecting him or Rios or anything, but none of these guys are on Garcia's level. They may bring a tough fight, but these fighters are there to make Garcia look good. And Breazeale was the same thing. He was there to make Wilder look good. Nothing more, nothing less. You can't say the guy looks better when he knocked him out in 1 round, when he's supposed to knock him out in 1 round. The odds were wide for a reason. It's not a 50-50 fight. Ortiz, that was different. And out of the PBC fighters, since he's not going to fight Anthony Joshua, I think Ortiz is a good way to go. I like the rematch over Kaunaki and who else is over there. But we already seen the first fight. But it's cool. It's cool to see Ortiz get a second shot, because he did hurt Wilder. There was some drama in there with the ref and them the doctors giving Wilder some more time after that round he got punished in. So there's a lot of talk about that. There was always some drama with that, and a lot of people didn't like it. So at least Ortiz is getting a second opportunity to fight Wilder. All right. But in between that, Ortiz didn't really accomplish much, and he still hasn't proven much, because there's fights that there's a lot of other fighters that he didn't fight yet that are top fighters in the division. And we all know what happened recently with Anthony Joshua. We all know what happened there. We blaming the manager. They're blaming on, they didn't want to take the fight, the $7 million. It didn't happen. Are we blaming Joshua for that too? You guys wanted the fight, and they're still saying they'll fight Ortiz after he fights Ruiz. But Ortiz is stepping up to Wilder. He went to Brooklyn. He came to Brooklyn to step to Wilder. Is Ortiz going to go to the city in a couple of weeks to step to Anthony Joshua? Is he going to do that? Probably not. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe Ortiz will appear in the ring. I don't know what Ortiz is going to do. But if he already knows that he's fighting Wilder, which I believe he does, because I called it. Did you guys see the comment I made on the channel? I made a post that Ortiz was in the building, right, in the pre-fights, and that he's going to have a face-off with Deontay Wilder at the end of the fight. You think that just pulled that out of my ass? I didn't. I knew it was going to happen. I didn't say if Wilder would win. I said if when Wilder knocks him out or whatever. I said after Wilder wins, Ortiz is going to face off with Deontay Wilder in the ring to have their rematch. I said that a couple hours before their fight. Come on. Let's not get too far away from reality here, guys. It was a fun fight. It was a great highlight, but that's it. All right, so I'm going to stop it there. Hope y'all have a good day and enjoy the video. Peace.